This show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for certain audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. A friendly reminder, Mary Jane edibles are not a substitute for actually paying your Lyft driver. Don't forget to tip your bartenders, you filthy fucking animals. And if you've got kinks, we've got links. Don't forget to subscribe, put on your seatbelt, and enjoy the ride.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. My co-hosts with me are Michelle.
Hello.
And Scolipendra.
Hi.
And if you're watching on any kind of video version, or if you're watching the live stream, you'll notice the name of the episode is Cutie, Patootie. Because right as it was getting to like the last 30 minutes before I fired up the stream, I noticed that there's a new video from my friend Tifa, who does a lot of reactions to like the Death Battle channel and all of that. And this one is Dio versus Alucard vampire fight. Hell yeah! I haven't had a chance to watch it because it's 30 minutes. Well, give or take 30 minutes. And it's like you know what? It'll be something to look forward to after I get this things done in the editing dungeon.
Yeah.
That'll be something to look forward to. And also, Tifa's a cutie patootie, so
She's
it's
sweet.
the title.
We love a Tifa.
Yes, Tifa's good people. She's been hanging out with Becky and me a little bit more often. I'm showing Becky and Tifa girlfriend, which if you haven't watched it, it's pretty good. And yeah, the whole premise is, dude gets girlfriend, another girl confesses to him, he's like, okay, obvious solution, date them both. Hilarity ensues. and it's written as a farce, but at the same time, it's like it brings up some really good points, like, hey, you're all in this relationship together, it make it a team thing instead of Naoya being the main character being like, no, I have to make you two happy, and the other two are like, let us make you happy too, dude. What the hell? You know. And we describe Naoya as too good of a boy, because there's one point where another girl starts kind of having a crush on him, and she's like, nope, I ain't gonna leave your yard until you agree to date me. And I'm like, oh boy. And this is after he gave her a firm no. And it turns out, you know, they're in the process of getting her to leave, and her father comes up. And bear in mind, this other character is basically a titty YouTuber. I should also note these are all high schoolers, which makes that bit a little bit awkward, but it's Japan. But I overlooked that because her father was like, yeah, I'm just going to delete all your videos, off of her phone, invading her space and her privacy. Like, I don't care if you disagree with what she does or whether or not it's morally correct or whatever. That's still her personal space, and she's the one who put herself out there like that. So it was her decision all the way around. As icky as we Americans and British people and other Westerners may find it ick. And now you gets this, and he's like, no. She worked her ass off for this. Don't you fucking dare. I am going to protect her. Cue the girl falling in love with him for real. Much to the dismay of his two girlfriends. It's like, no, yeah. He is a himbo in training. Big of heart, dumb of ass, but he's 16. He's still a scrawny teenager. He's also voiced by the same guy who voiced Fugo in JoJo Part 5. And he's also the voice of Yuji Itadori in Jujutsu Kaisen. Bear in mind, all Japanese voice actors on this one, because Girlfriend hasn't been dubbed, at least as of yet. I'm hoping for one. That would be awesome. But yeah, it is good. I've seen the whole first season. Becky has seen up to episode 7 with me. Tifa's just finished up with episode 6. And then the next one will probably be through episode 9. So that'll be fun. Speaking
I was gonna say, just because it's in my head, I've been watching Sabrina, Chilling Adventures,
Mhm.
and spoiler for near the end of the last season, but I love this as a sentence I get to say. So basically, in the penultimate season 1 episode, Missy eats Balky, like literally consumes Balky, and I just love that's a sentence I can say because it's true. It's Michelle Gomez and Bronson Pinchot, and she's a demon, so yeah. But I love that I could just say that sentence.
Yay!
Missy's just eating Balky.
Yeah. There you go.
Which is a spoiler, but it's a couple of years old now, so
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of things that are relatively new and came out this year, yes, I have seen the new Dune adaptation.
how is it?
It is awesome. There are some nitpicks I can have for it, like in the original novels, Gurney was also a musician as well as a killing machine. They kind of downplayed the musician part of him, but otherwise it's good. And of course, has one of my favorite moments in a Dune adaptation. Just smile, Gurney. I am smiling. With Josh Brolin just sitting there straight-faced. I am smiling. But it is good.
That dude's had an interesting career.
Yeah.
I always forget that he was in Goonies.
Yeah, right? Like from Goonies now to Dune. And not in the same decade either. Although I will say, every adaptation of Dune I have seen, at least in terms of movies, Peter DeVries keeps getting like kind of downplayed a little bit. It's like, dude, if you read the novel, the man is fucking insane. He's called a twisted mentat for a reason, because the dude's twisted. And it would have been great. And it would have been great for Brad Dourif to be able to play that up a little bit before he became Chucky.
Oh.
But what can you do? Otherwise, it is fun. And honestly, it 2.5 hours. What? Really? It is good, and I think it'll hold up well. And I look forward to them doing the other half of the book.
I might just wait until they do the second film and just double bill it.
There you go. Although you'd be in there for about 5 hours probably.
Yeah. I'll do that at home.
Yeah, that's fair. And at least at home you can pause and go take a piss if you need to. Or if you have it on a tablet, just take it with you.
Yeah.
Isn't technology amazing?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all caught up on Owl House, and everybody's bisexual and non-bisexual hearts are exploding.
No, I'm not. But we've only got like the first season.
Yeah. So, but like one of the big things in the second season, right?
Well, no, because I've been trying to avoid spoilers because I haven't I've watched the first couple of episodes and then I've not have access to the rest of it yet. So I've tried to avoid spoilers actually.
Okay. Then I
But I know people are bi, but I don't know who.
Okay. So yeah, and of course with Disney kind of giving Owl House the axe a little bit, they people are suspecting, it's not straight enough for certain audiences, conservatives, China, whatever, I think the official word out was it's not on brand or with our style or whatever.
Okay, I can't remember the exact post. Let me see if I can find it because someone posted or tweeted or put somewhere other things that China hates, and I'm pretty sure one of them was Brad Pitt.
Wow.
Yeah. And to be clear, at least when we're talking about like China as an abstract, we're pretty much referring to the government.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not disputing that part, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I just clarity for listeners on that one.
Yeah.
I feel like I've since my 20s. I feel like I've been in perpetual cover your ass mode for the most part. Sometimes I don't do it, but a lot of times it's like if I'm doing something like this, it's like, wait, yeah, that's why I like jokingly like you were like when Me Too was more prevalent back a few years ago, and then the people were countering it with hashtag not all men. It's like, well, no fucking shit. So of course, we turned into a joke like hashtag not all whatever.
Yeah.
Hashtag not all Chinese people, obviously.
No ghosts, no gay love, no stories, no nudity, tales of filmmaking in China.
Yeah.
See if I can get the list.
Yeah, it's like, no, we want to control all of the populace. It's like, no. And I think the reason why a lot of Republicans hate China is because China's doing exactly what they want and controlling their populace to that degree.
Oh yeah.
I think it's pure on white jealousy. That's my theory.
Okay, I can't. It's an article. It's actually quite a long one, so I will link it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't find like a list in this article because it's like text.
Yeah.
But I will give you the link because it's quite a long read actually.
Yeah. Oh lordy.
But yeah, I'm sure someone mentioned that one of the things that China doesn't like, in like for whatever reason, is Brad Pitt, or an actor that is like super popular. And like, oh, okay, so they're gonna just ban everything they're done, right?
Yeah. Oh, so one of my friends earlier was bemoaning about how she's recently went back to work in retail, and she had to work a register for like half an hour. Then the manager comes up, or some other higher up is like, well, you weren't pushing the numbers like you were supposed to. Like, only on there for 30 minutes. What do you expect her to do? Which gave me the idea for this tweet. Sometimes I wonder if all of those stores that push aggressive sales tactics will one day expect their employees to outright mug their customers.
Wow.
Like, yeah, give me your money. Take this cheap pair of shoes from Massachusetts. Have a nice day.
Wow.
And anybody who gets the cheap pair of shoes from Massachusetts reference, I will be so surprised. But one other person, Rowdy, who, by the way, I really should have brought this up first, but I do have a GoFundMe up because it is time I need to get the fuck out of Florida. So I have that up. I'll keep pushing. I'll keep I've got a bot to retweet it every day, at least until the end of the year, or until I meet the goal, whichever comes first. Goal is 75,000, and if you've been on my live streams before, you know about most of this. But it's simply it's getting to a point where I need to get out now, or at least as soon as I possibly can. It's not to a point where it's like absolutely dead end rock bottom. But I don't want to hit rock bottom before I get out of here. I would prefer not to, please. So, hence that. And I bring that up because one of the responses to the tweet I was just talking about is Rowdy. And he just, yesterday donated $200. I'm like, thank you. Because I was very shocked. I mean, and there have been people who did donate. There was one donated 40, 50, 10, 20. One of my friends donated $69 because we're immature.
Nice.
But yeah, Rowdy was thinking of the car salesman from UHF. If I don't sell a car today, I'm going to club this baby seal. No! Just damn. But yeah, just fucking hell, people. Also, Metroid Dread is out, and I 100% it within a day.
Awesome.
Not without a little help, because, YouTube exists, but, it's fun. And people are already speedrunning it all to hell. They've got it down to, under an hour and a half, depending on what route you take. Jeebus! Bear in mind,
well,
this
like
game
you said before... Yeah, because you go.
It took me 11 hours or so to 100% it to beat it. And then also to get the best ending, it's under 4 hours. So yeah, people are getting through this really fast.
No, it's like we were saying, you can do Breath of the Wild once you get off the plateau. It's I think the record. What did we say? Was it 24 minutes? Is the record?
Something
was it less than that?
Around there,
ridiculous. Yeah. But you can literally spend hundreds of hours. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm actually on my second playthrough because I completed it on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I didn't 100% it, but I completed the story. I did the Dark Beast.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm not even really that bothered about 100%ing it, but I've still got some Koroks to find. There's still some other stuff I just want to look at and play around. So sometimes I just go in there and walk around. What I did do, though, is I stopped playing it for a little while and was playing Age of Calamity, which is a lot of fun. And then I went back to Breath of the Wild and I forgot how to fight in Breath of the Wild.
Oh. So...
It's like, hang on, what? Oh, all right, now I can do it. It took me a couple of minutes to get back into the Breath of the Wild fighting rather than the Calamity fighting.
Yeah. So, you want to know what the record is for 100% of Breath of the Wild?
What is it?
It's about a day or something, isn't it?
Close. Well, sort of close. 16 hours, 48 minutes, 27 seconds.
Is that DLC or just the base game?
It just says normal mode. I don't know if it counts DLC or not. Let's see. Okay, it says DLC must be uninstalled, so no DLC.
Right.
Well,
900 Koroks, 120 shrines, 4 beasts. Maybe if you know where you're going.
Okay.
I can see that.
So all right, so that was the original no DLC. They have an extended category with the DLC, and that one is 20 hours, 48 minutes, 31 seconds.
Yeah. There's some bastard beasts on the especially the final shrine.
Yeah.
Worth it though to get the Master Cycle.
And it's like, timing, the goals below should be completed before ending the run. Timing ends when either the input that causes the final key item to appear on screen or final reward from the last active side quest. Input that causes the final cutscene to trigger, be it the cutscene for the final memory or the final upgrade cutscene, final armor upgrade cutscene. Last location for 100% map meter shows on screen, or interacting with the final monk on the Trial of the Sword, or the final hit to Maz Koshia. So apparently Ganon is not the end of this one.
Depends, because if you've done the main game story first, or done the main story, then Maz would be the last one because you've already done Dark Beast.
Yeah.
So it could count. It's weird because a lot of the Zelda games, you do the final battle and it rolls you back a few minutes, to the point before it. It's always a little bit weird, but you've completed it. So
yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, so I've been kind of going on a bit. Scully, how have you been the past however long it's been?
Oh, I've been all right. I got my account back. I had to nudge Discord, their support team. Apparently other people aren't doing this. They've been getting radio silence for a month, which I did for almost a month, so I just kind of waited a few weeks and then said, hey, did the Discord team ever get back to you? And then a few days later, suddenly I get a reset link for my account.
Cool.
I'm glad you got it back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, lordy. So it is that time, the time of the season, where Christmas is still trying to keep November, even though Thanksgiving is a thing. And while there are definitely issues with the background of Thanksgiving, the fact of the matter is Christmas is trying to push everything. I mean, they were pushing even before Halloween. What the fuck? Okay, Christmas, fine, it's fun. You get the Mariah Carey and everything. All I want for Christmas is you. Yeah, whatever, that's fine and dandy. But, keep it, at least wait till, after Black Friday. Because, nobody's going to be thinking that on Black Friday. But just keep it.
One of my friends on Facebook was they were posting in this thread, and it was ruin Thanksgiving in 4 words. And they put I have to have how long or whatever it was, and I just put as my response, I am British, bitches.
Yeah. I was
but it does remind me that if you hear any crashing or banging, it is Guy Fawkes night tonight, which is our big whiz bang night, and people do set them off around town, so
Ah.
you might hear
Okay.
the gunpowder plot and all that. So
Oh,
yeah,
lordy.
it's alright.
But yeah, I've
The
tried
longer I,
Hmm?
so I was going to say, the more I live and the longer I learn about more about politics, I'm starting to think that Guy Fawkes may have had a point.
Yeah, definitely. But I bring up the season and all that because if you go to a lot of your big box stores, specifically not Target, because Target has the right idea, you'll see the little bell ringers. At least here in America, you do. You see the little bell ringers, with the red buckets in the Salvation Army. Especially if you go to Walmart.
Yep.
And
we got.
Hmm?
Yep, we got those.
Yeah.
We don't.
So yeah, this is your regular reminder to not donate to them.
Nope.
And I have this Tumblr thread to explain why. Well, a little bit of background because I don't think they go fully into it. They're homophobic, they're transphobic. They'll turn you away if you're not the right, if you're not cishet, that sort of thing, or possibly even Christian, or they want you to convert or whatever. That part I'm a little fuzzy on, but the homophobia and transphobia, definitely I'm on the mark with on that one.
And I don't know if your thread's going to mention this, but I think Rosen pointed to an article once, essentially saying that they turned up at a disaster of some sort. They weren't invited or anything. They turned up and did the teas and coffees and everything, and then sent the local government a bill.
Yeah, it's like unless you are hurting for money, no. And even then, it's still a little pushing it, because I could understand, like, if you're hurting for money and you need to get some of that back for operating costs or whatever, that would be one thing. I don't think that's the case with this one, by the way. But
yeah, like I said, they weren't actually invited either, so they just turned up, did the teas and coffees, and then sent a bill.
Yeah, and that also is a bit shitty too. Although now see the way. Now, see, one way you could get away with it is if you did that to Jeff Bezos. Say, here, have all of this tea. By the way, you owe us $1 million. You're welcome. Because fuck Jeff Bezos. Fuck Elon Musk, too. Fuck all those billionaire motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Take their money.
They're not even that good looking. I mean, Elon's probably the closest, but even then, I wouldn't.
Oh my god, yeah, isn't that guy on his way to becoming a trillionaire? That's fucking scary.
That's fucking gross. It's like, it would be less gross if it was like actual legit and not through dodging loopholes and dodging paying your obligations,
Yeah.
But yeah, so to get to this thread. Started by this Jack Harkness Day. Hey, I like that character. He says, I can back this up. It isn't only their shelters. I have a family friend who worked at our local Salvation Army headquarters as a secretary. This particular office took all of the Christmas donations for children in need, put them in a warehouse, and on a designated day, the staff and their friends picked through them all, taking whatever they wanted. She saw people hauling away bikes donated for specific families. Some local children had hundreds of dollars of gifts donated in their name, and on Christmas they received They received 3 cheap things, items not likely not even from the person who sponsored them. My friend quit, and I've not given them a dime of my money since then. Do not give to the Salvation Army, which is repeated with the first response. And we have another turn. We have another person from Rabbit Saves the World, who takes their turn. I am a wildfire and disaster logistics specialist. I deal with a lot of agencies who provide disaster relief. I used to say the Salvation Army's disaster services were literally the one good thing they did. They would come in, set up a canteen trailer, make and pass out hot coffee and donated food in a disaster. I have a feeling this is going to be either the exact one or tie into what Michelle had just said about them.
Yeah, feels like it.
Donating food in a disaster, usually being one of the first agencies to get there and the last to leave. Then I found out. Every time they did this, regardless of if they were actually invited or deployed by the agency in charge, usually FEMA, sometimes others, they would self-deploy, meaning they would just show up. Okay, that's not too bad. Sometimes agencies have to take initiative and get there before the red tape is sorted out. But they, after they left at the end of the incident, would send FEMA or the host agency a bill. There it is.
Yeah.
They used
I think it was. Yeah, now I remember. I think it was FEMA they sent it to, but maybe the local council as well.
Yeah, they used 1 or 2 paid employees, usually the driver of the truck and a supervisor, and many volunteers, but they would bill for everyone's labor at standard federal rates. They would bill for the food they distributed, even though it was all donated by another agency or private parties. They would bill for the coffee they made and the supplies, except they would use electricity from the shelter location, water from donations, or from the shelter, and in many cases, they would get the coffee and industrial filters donated, but bill for them at retail prices. Yeah, do not fucking give to the Salvation Army. No. And this other person just says, hey, I thought it was awful enough that they were notoriously queer hostile, particularly trans hostile. This is appalling. So don't give to the Salvation Army. Fuck them.
Yep.
The bigotry and the what was the term they used? Queer hostile is bad enough, but especially with their shelters. But this is just no. That's just no.
Big no.
Do not give it to them at all. No. I would say I would almost want to say go one step further and steal out of their buckets, but might get you in a little bit too much trouble.
Yeah.
Kick the buckets instead. No, don't do that. Unless you're really fast at running, then do it. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. But but speaking of like out in restaurants and stuff, and well, we weren't talking to restaurants yet, but now we are. As I was out,
segues.
As I was out on my way to donate blood plasma yesterday, I happened by a local McDonald's, and bear in mind, local for me is like within 40 or 50 miles because rural area here. So, and this one is in Dothan, Alabama. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen it. And this is one of several McDonald's in Dothan that has the now hiring signs out, which, okay, you want to hire workers, that's fine. And there are a bunch of businesses that are facing a quote-unquote labor shortage. No, you just can't afford the labor and you're too cheap to up your prices you need to up your wages, you assholes. And these McDonald's, and it's more than one, doing this, they're hiring, they give you a number you can text, and their starting pay, as advertised, is $10 an hour.
Oh.
That would have been fine for one person in Casper, Wyoming in 2008. I know, because that's when I worked at Walmart for $9 an hour, and it was perfectly fine for me, a single person at the time, like living on my own. That was fine for me. Mm-hmm. It also helped that the landlady that I was renting from charged less than $500 for rent. That was fine. Right. That was a time of And even then, I knew if there were like 2 or 3 people and I was the only one bringing in the money, it wouldn't work financially. So it was like, But $10 an hour in 2021 for anybody is just no. Like I've taken to a point. Like I have resumes and stuff on like job searching sites and everything, which right now is basically just it's apply to certain things and then wait for others. That's the name of the game. So anybody who says that somebody who's playing the same game is not trying hard enough, they can go fuck themselves. So especially when you have companies that can and should pay higher than $10 an hour, when they just refuse because they want to be as cheap as possible. And you know what? That $10 an hour is not even the worst one, because somebody else somewhere, I don't know where this was, but another McDonald's somewhere else was advertising new starting wages, and they start at $12 an hour for 18 and over. I think you might already see where some of the issues are starting to lie. Not just the $12 an hour, but they have to specify if you're 18 and over. Mm-hmm. Now, $11 an hour if you're 16 or 17.
Yep.
And if you're 14 or 15, first of all, if you're 14 or 15, why are you working at a McDonald's? Second of all, they're getting paid $8.50, which I believe is not too far above the minimum wage federally.
Yeah, federal minimum wage is $7.25.
Yeah, so it's like a dollar and a quarter over the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage. It's like, dude, number one, how the fuck dare you? And it ties into other arguments I've seen people make about like teenagers working like fast food or whatever. Oh, they don't need that much because they got blah, 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 blah. No, they should be getting paid that much. Number one, they're putting in the same amount of effort for the same product, for the same service. Yes, they are younger and they lack a lot of the experience, but you know what helps motivate them, especially in the economy that we have here? Money. You get paid money, and you get paid enough money, you can get your own shit. And let me tell you, that's a good feeling. That really is. I mean, hey, with money, you know, you're 16, 17, you got money, you can put gas in your car, you can go, like on a weekend where you don't have to work, you could drive to the beach if you're close enough to one, or you can drive to the mountains or wherever, you know. You can save up money and just take a weekend with your friends. You know, maybe have a chaperone because some places may not want just teenagers signing in on their own. There could be that there, but
yeah.
But regardless, it gives you a little bit more freedom, and teenagers deserve that, especially if they're working at a place like McDonald's or Burger King. Especially then, or any kind of customer-facing service, they deserve it. You know,
I've just looked at the numbers,
mm-hmm.
and so you say 720 is the current federal, right?
Yeah, 725 rather.
I put 725. Okay, let me just make sure it's accurate. So I've crunched the numbers, put it through the exchange rate, and I found my old pay slips of my job that I had about 10 or so years ago.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I was looking at them going surprised because like, holy crap, that was like I was on like 620, 630 an hour like 10 so years ago. I was like, how do I live on this? I've just crunched, according to the exchange converter I'm using, $7.25 today is £5.38. So basically, today your minimum wage is less than I was getting 10 years ago.
God damn. Americans are fucking cheap bastards.
Uh-huh.
Like, and I know somebody's gonna be like, well, there are exceptions. Of course there are exceptions, but by and large, Americans are cheap bastards.
And just to know, I was over 21 when I had this job, like, because I'm obviously, over 21 now. But yeah, our minimum, we do have like, the 18s, like the 15, 16, like the school leavers, and then your 18s, and then I think it's over 21 or 24. But I was over the adult threshold for like minimum wages and everything anyway. Our boss was actually paying us above the current minimum wage because like we were a franchise store, and he was like, look, they do a bonus scheme, but it really doesn't work for shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pay you above the company average.
Yeah.
And then like it'll work out better for you that way. And it did. And, like that was like, damn.
Yeah.
And I was doing all right on that money. Of course, it was before I had credit cards and loans to worry about, but
yeah. And speaking of franchisees and franchising and everything, I just want to say maybe I don't know how similar it works in other places of the world, but what I understand how it works here, if you want to open a franchise location, we'll use McDonald's. That's the one that's on the chopping block right now. What I understand, you have to go to them, and I guess you have to pay them to be able to open the franchise restaurant. When really it should be them coming around and say, hey, you wanna run one of our chains here in town, we will pay you and we will support you in every way possible.
I think it is fairly universal because I think Subway is similar because a lot of the Subway stores are franchise, and it's more like you're investing into the company rather than like paying them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
When really more the company should be investing in you because you're their face.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's particular to McDonald's. I think that is a fairly universal thing, as I understand.
Right. right. McDonald's, again, they're on the chopping block. But if you're big enough to be able to have light franchisees and all of that, then you're big enough to be able to pay them. And in fact, you should just be able to say, "Hey, we're opening up a place here. Here you go. You run it our way, or you hit the goddamn road." Type thing. Which the language I use there might be a little bit iffy, but point being, McDonald's and Subway definitely, with these two examples, could definitely afford to just outright open other restaurants wherever and just own it, because it's their name on the shit anyway. Because a franchisee fucks up, it goes back to McDonald's because it's their name on it. Just oi.
There might be a thing about paying for the license as well. Don't know.
Yeah, but it's like, but here's the thing: of course, I guess then that would be a disincentive for them to just open one up, like here in small town Graceville, Florida, for example. They don't want to do it directly. They want somebody else to pay them for the license, and then they take all of the quote unquote risks. Like, fuck you. Like if you're a company, you're big enough to expand, just expand. Don't force people to pay into it. You've got enough, Although recently Nintendo did a C&D on a realistic looking Bowser dildo.
What the?
Yeah. I was like, it's like, wait, what? I know, especially with like the American legal copyright and trademark systems and all of that, you have to be more aggressive. But remember, Nintendo literally owns the copyright to the Super Mario porno movies.
Wow.
Okay. Here's my brain, because mine was like, I was having a moment like C&D, like my brain was like, what's a C&D? And then you got to Bowser dildo, like, hang on, my brain was like trying to cease and desist. Wait, what? My brain was not in the same lane. It was a little bit like, okay, what does that mean? Oh, that's what it means. Wait, what did he just say?
Yeah, a cease and desist order for a dildo. Like, goddamn.
I mean, fair.
Like, hey, guess what, Nintendo? Your C&Ds just cause a Streisand effect. Look at AM2R.
Yeah.
They can't officially, it can't quote unquote officially be worked on, but fans have come up and they've updated it. They've kept it going for the last few years. And I played one of the more recent versions on stream just in the last week or two. You can't stop it. And here's the thing: if you are a big multinational corporation, and you're that worried about piracy, you need to prioritize other things. Because let me tell you, at least when it comes to video games, video game piracy in general, there is a general rule. If it's like, if you can go out and buy it on the shelves or buy it digitally or whatever, that is the thing you need to do, if at all possible. I mean, there's always going to be people who are going to pirate no matter what, but whenever possible, pay it forward, pay the money, that's fine.
Yeah.
Pay with your, vote with your wallet, basically. But when you have games that are 20, 30, coming up on 40, even 50 years old now, holy shit, pirating them, okay, fine, whatever. And here's the thing: a lot of the stuff that Nintendo, specifically Nintendo, uses for like their emulations and like re-releases and all of that, they use the same technology that pirates were using back in the day, and even now. It's like, you know what? Just hire the pirates to do the shit for you. It's like, come on. I mean, Sonic Team did that. I think that was how Sonic Mania got made, because the team behind that one was doing like Sonic ROM hacks and all of that, and Sega's like, hey, why don't you do an official thing for us? Hell, I think Street Fighter versus Mega Man, the fan game that got official backing from Capcom, was as another example. It's like, hey, they were working on this, and Capcom's like, hey, why don't we give you a hand and promote this for you, because this is pretty fucking awesome. So yeah. And in the case of AM2R, it is at least slightly understandable, because AM2R is a remake of Metroid 2 for the Game Boy, and Nintendo was working on their own Metroid 2 remake at the time. So it's slightly understandable, but at the same time, both games are just as good. I still went out and got Samus Returns. And I've played it, I've beaten it, I've enjoyed it. It's great. The only thing the AM2R has over Samus Returns is one button morph ball, which I'm glad they added into Metroid Dread. So that makes things so much easier and convenient. Oh my god.
On a similar note about officiating, making things official, one of the guys from Zen's server posted this today. So, I got some holy fuck news this week. So a few weeks ago, I sold a copy of my Battletoads cover on Etsy to a guy in the UK. Nick's Australian.
Yeah.
So he does, amongst other things, he does his own like custom box arts of games and stuff, basically.
Yeah.
He's got a picture of it. I'll show you in a second. Turns out he worked on the game. He wanted to put it in a frame in his studio, but then he told me he showed it to the CEO of is it Dala Games, DLA Games, the makers studios.
Right. Yeah.
And he has ordered 40 of my custom covers. Dead.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know, right? That's what I said. So yeah, well, sometimes the official people like the fan stuff.
Yeah.
Don't be so muddy about it.
Oh yeah. If you hear about Sega and Sonic Mania, basically there were some ROM hack people or fan game makers, and Sega noticed them and were like, yeah, we want you all to work on a game for us, and we got Sonic Mania out of it. So
yeah. I mean, hell, even the guy who worked on AM2R, he himself got a position with not with Nintendo, but with some other company making games for one of the big companies. Hell, even Toby Fox got his start doing Earthbound ROM hacks.
Oh yeah.
People are going to.
I will say,
go ahead.
No, you do your thing first.
It doesn't matter what medium. People are going to do things with your material. Hell, even let's take Dune, the new Dune. You've got GIFs going around all over the place. You've got people taking pictures of Duke Leto and calling him daddy in the sexual way. That sort of thing. Which, all right. Not my bag, but you do you. That sort of thing. Thirsting over Jason Momoa, that sort of thing, because of course it's Jason Momoa.
That's fair.
And just generally having fun with it. Even I have the GIF with Gurney doing I am smiling. That I have that GIF around, and yeah, to get some of that. At this point, you kind of have to do a little bit of piracy, admittedly. But you know what? You still have the fan outpouring, and you still have plenty of people, piracy or no, who are willing to pay money for it. And admittedly, I'm one of those. It's like you know what? The two big reasons why I didn't go see it in the theater, or that I got it through Flickstore, is because 1, money, and 2, while I am comfortable enough to go to a restaurant and eat out while we still have a pandemic going on, taking all precautions, of course, not so comfortable about it in a movie theater, especially in Alabama, because that's the closest one to me. So yeah, not too comfortable about it. If I was in Joliet, that would be a different story, because from what I understand, Illinois has their shit more together than Florida does. So yeah, I would feel a little bit more comfortable about that. Also, yeah, Becky would probably drag me anyway. Willingly drag me. I would willingly go, but then I guess it's not dragging me. Sorry, go ahead.
All I'd say is on the game development stuff, although on the fan art stuff, it's not so much, but specifically on a named lifelike dildo, Yeah, they should have just called it Growler or something else. They should have just changed the name because they knew that shit was going to get shut down.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't think it would have mattered. We all would have known.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're not a furry, you would know.
Yeah, but
I've known plenty of people in my life that once
they knew what they were doing. Yeah, they knew what they were doing, and they knew they were being silly. Unless they wanted the Streisand, in which case, fair play.
Yeah.
But that one, I can kind of like say it is a family friendly franchise, and that is kind of like past the line. Like, I think it's hilarious, but from their point of view, I can see where it's past the line. So,
kind of, but I don't know. I think there are some degrees where you can take fiction, whether it's family friendly or not, and just be like, okay, whatever, you know. But to each their own, right?
Yeah.
But on that, we're gonna go ahead and take our break, and then when we come back, we'll have some more stuff to talk about. So stick around.
Awesome.
Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point, I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/Gomer21XX.
And now, an important message from Tyler Green, Kitty Quinn, and Randy Martin.
Are you tired of asking yourself if that obscure show or movie you watched once was a fever dream?
Is it still in your brain to this day as a 3 a.m. channel-changing hallucination? Well, join us as we yank that said memory out of your subconscious when we do a deep dive on it on Channel KRT.
Channel KRT is a new bi-weekly podcast where we look at the best and worst of obscure media. We'll be covering such topics as
The Puzzle Place,
Clown TV,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show,
Reanimated,
The Weird Al Show,
We Sing,
and more. Join us every other week over at Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be heard. Channel KRT, cut to static.
Hey y'all, wanna watch some anime? I haven't seen this one.
Oh, good idea. I've been meaning to watch this one.
Hey, can we watch this one? I was distracted.
Ignoring how easily Gomer is distracted by booty, how about this one?
Alright. How about this? Let's just pick one and watch one episode a week. We can even talk about it on a podcast. It's random, it's anime. What should we call it?
Randome. Check out Randome. Recorded every week at twitchtv.com/rosenthorn.
TwitchTV.
And available. Oh, good lord.
This is all staying in.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to this little mid-roll segment of the show here. I brought it up at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to mention it again before we get to the end of the show as well. But, between the last two shows, I fired up a GoFundMe campaign, basically to help me move, honestly. Because, truth be told, while things are not, horrible, we're not, talking Lifetime movie horrible, or a lot of the horrible that you see out there on social media for people who also need similar help. I see the warning signs. I see the signs going where they are starting to go, and I'm savvy enough to know, because 39 years, you get to know certain signs, and it's time for me to try and pack up and get out of here again. Here being Florida, which is why I asked for the help, because it's like, other than going back into truck driving, which would be not counterintuitive, but counterproductive to what I'm trying to do, and that is making podcasting and streaming more of a viable thing, which you can't do if you're on the road most of the time. And longtime listeners of the show know that I have tried. There have been shows where I've done, like, sitting in Joliet or sitting somewhere else, but, it shouldn't have to be that way. And so, the idea is to, move someplace, have like a year's worth of cushion to where it's not all rush or whatever, and I can focus on streaming and podcasting and things like that there, without having to worry about if I'm going to be homeless or foodless or what have you. Which is why the link itself is in the easiest way to do it is just go to my link tree, and it's the very top link. That's the easiest way to talk about it. In case I forget to put the direct link to the GoFundMe and the doobly-doo. If you watch this live, then you'll see it in like the header for each stream. You could just either click or copy pasta that, and it's fine. But yeah, so the goal is, I think it's to 75,000. Now again, that should cover all the relevant expenses for at least 1 year, at the budget that I'm thinking, as well as make sure there's enough to cover that, and also take care of any other expenses that GoFundMe pulls out to keep the lights on or what have you. I say in general keep the lights on, but we know what that means. So yeah, and every little bit does help, and there have been some people who have already donated that I am very thankful for, because every little bit does help. But yeah, and I'll keep pushing it. I actually, as of this recording, I need to remember to ask Nash to push that instead of the site on RDA. Hopefully, I'll have done it by the time the next RDA goes up. But we'll hopefully, fingers crossed. Just my memory. But yeah, so that's the big thing behind the GoFundMe. I see the signs. It's starting to get too toxic for everyone's health here, and it's just I know I'm the only one who can remove themselves from the situation. So I need to be the one to do it, but I need help in order to be able to accomplish that. And it's not for a lack of trying either, because there's the streams obviously, and then there's also putting in job applications where I can. And I know some people will be, and I actually put in like, hey, I need this much an hour, which some people will be like, well, no, you should just take what you get. Well, people taking what they can get is how we got into the job situation that we're in now, where people don't want to work for $10 an hour. That's how we got there. So people need to quit settling, and I can at least be an example of that. So just say, hey, you know what? No, you pay $25 an hour, or you don't get my labor. Which, again, considering my situation, might be a shot in the foot, but at the same time, enough people are starting to do that now to where it's like, yeah, lead by example, right? So, it's just one of those things. Like I said, every little bit helps, and it's not for a lack of trying on my part. Hell, I still donate blood plasma. While it gets me like 500 something if I'm able to do it enough times in a month. Some months there aren't that many days. So, but yeah, not for a lack of trying, and not for a lack of effort. It's just, I need an assist. That's all it is. To get out of here, get someplace where I can concentrate on this, into a place that is very much less toxic, and hopefully be able to move forward with things with Becky and any other partners we may or may not have. So yeah. Trucking is always the very, very last resort, but we've got this going here. Let's try and see it through. But and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see the link pop up every day around 3 p.m. Central, at least until the end of the year, or if the goal is met, whichever comes first. So yeah, that's about it. Again, it's at the top of my link tree, linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. The GoFundMe is the top link. Every little bit helps and is always very much appreciated. Even if I don't say too awful much, it's more just, oh, thank you. Do be aware that I do mean it from the bottom of my heart, and it does mean a lot. So yeah. To everybody who has donated, again, thank you. It does mean a lot. And yeah, so we'll get back to the show. It's been kind of a haphazard one, but it's kind of fun. We're having fun. We're going to talk about some deep topics and humor and a lot of sex jokes, a lot of sex stuff. So yeah, that's what you got for the second half. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the show. Later. And we are back from our break, and woo! Patrons got a little bit of something with their VOD this week. I'm not gonna say what it is here on the main show because we're gonna keep it to them. Unless you're watching live. If you watch these live, you do get to see them, but gotta try and have something for the patrons now. So Scully managed to find a news story, and I can actually tie it in with something else too, and in a weird way. So,
Nice.
so before we do that, just like in the last day or two, Madison Cawthorn, who I think is he a representative or senator from Wisconsin? I don't remember which. He's one of those assholes from Wisconsin. But he says that people in D.C. are trying to destroy Western civilization. They call our morality away and make us genderless, sexless, and godless. To which one of my friends said, I don't know, Madison. That sounds pretty rad. Sure beats being a little wannabe fascist. Which he is. And yeah, it's just and of course I share that around with people, and my friend Vi says, well, wait, genderless and sexless? Yeah. Sexless as in like nobody fucking, or sexless as in Barbie dolls and nobody has junk, which honestly could be either way. And she quipped, "Well, I like my Vagooby. I just don't want to be a Barbie."
Yeah.
And that is probably one of the funniest euphemisms for vagina ever. Definitely.
Well,
I think I broke teeth when I mentioned that to her too.
reminds me of that line from Red Dwarf. Nah, he's like Action Man, just plastic underwear on his trademark.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, Madison Cawthorn, he needs to go fuck himself. He needs to be yeeted out of power. He's one of several Republicans that need to be yeeted out of power. But,
is he the guy in the chair that like says, essentially keeps alluding to the Second Amendment?
Yeah, I think he's one of those assholes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I like my politicians not fashy, thank you very much.
Same.
But yeah, make us genderless, sexless, and godless. And you know what? I will welcome our NB over folks. All I'm gonna say. Yeah. I mean, hey, a lot of us are already at least a third of the way there. Some of us 2/3 of the way there. But yeah. But speaking of Madison, the story that Scully sent over is from out of Madison County, Florida. Ha ha ha! Yeah, that was a stretch, I admit. But a man was arrested for trying to rob a Florida Waffle House with finger guns.
Of course it was a Waffle House.
It's like, why a Waffle House? I mean, their food's alright. I mean, I enjoy their food. And go ahead.
Not the first time, or the second time, or the third time I've heard about violence happening at a Waffle House.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Surprisingly, I never seem to run into it.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I was looking at something else.
Huh? Oh, Lordy.
I posted a picture of my dinner.
Mhm.
So Zane was like, my snack. And then she posted a picture of Kana, and I was like, it was already in my tummy. And then Kitty. And then Fruity was like, Kana's your snack?
Oh, no.
Oh. Yeah, just so. So, Florida man was arrested for trying to rob a Waffle House with finger guns. I mean, that's all you really need right there, but you got to have a news article. Madison County Sheriff's Office said deputies said Edward Rodriguez was arrested for an unarmed robbery and assault. An employee with the Waffle House on Brand Street in Madison called 911 after the incident at around 8:09 p.m. on Monday. Madison County deputies said that no one was injured at this end. The suspect got into a car and left the parking lot. Multiple deputies responded, and witnesses told them that a white man wearing a gray hoodie, dark jeans, and a dark hat went into the Waffle House with his dog. Investigators with the sheriff's office said he started shouting, "Get on the ground! Y'all are getting robbed!" The suspect also said he was high and drunk before grabbing some napkins and walking out.
Oh my god.
Oh, I need napkins. Taco Bell was really nasty to me tonight. Oh. Deputy said the suspect didn't appear to have any weapons, but did raise his hands with his fingers in the shape of a gun. At the very least, get a toy gun, you dipshit.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was about to ask, so did he like have his hands out, or was he inside his jacket pretending? No, out in the open.
Just wow. Like, this is not Yu Yu Hakusho, my friend. Oh. Investigators say they identified Rodriguez as the suspect from witness descriptions and video surveillance. He was found at his Madison home on Dinkin Street, and deputies said he did admit he was at the Waffle House to get some napkins and said he was going to rob the restaurant. He was arrested and taken to the Madison County Jail. Yeah, I was joking when I said the Taco Bell line. Oh, wow.
He's gonna sober up, and he's like, "The fuck did I just do?"
Yeah. Well, the story was published. What was it, October 22nd? So he's long sobered up now, and he is probably rethinking his life.
Yeah.
I hope he is. Like you need to go. Well, in this case, to jail and rethink your life. Just oh my god.
I think the stupidest thing I did when I was drunk, and I've probably done some stupid things, but I was walking home because I don't live far from where the bars were, and there was some kind of construction, like the fencing was up, and there was a sign up that said no heavy plants. And I had a pen in my pocket because I think I might have been like an after work thing, so I had a pen on me. And I just scribbled under it, light plants only.
Yeah.
And like, to me, that was hilarious because I was drunk and like, that's funny. I woke up and that wasn't funny.
Yeah. Oh.
But, you know, I can't, I mean, maybe I've done some other goofy shit, but nothing like that.
Yeah. I think as a teen, let's see. I don't think I did too many goofy things like that. Probably the worst was almost flipping a truck.
Oh,
God.
That's not good.
Yeah. Well, see here the way our high school is set up, or just regular school now, because everybody's over there because we have so few students over here. Anyway, so there's like a drive, like a semicircle drive for like buses or whatever to go through, and I was just out riding around with a friend of mine one night. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. So I went to one end, and I'm gonna gun it, and I just decided to just gun it to go all around this thing. Not a good idea. The only thing that happened was like a tire burst, and we lost a hubcap, which is bad enough. But I was also at the time very scared of what was going to happen to me, so I lied my ass off, even though my friend was right there. And I tried tossing him under the bus, which also not cool.
No.
And then I ended up getting in more trouble than I would have gotten in the first place.
Yeah.
I was a stupid teenager.
Yeah, same.
Did it say what it was on, or just that it was high?
I don't think it said what he was on.
That's not meth. Meth is usually stupider than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been coke, could have been weed. I mean, if alcohol was involved, then man, it might have been weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially since you went to a Waffle House. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm high and hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god. We have like little CBD stores around here in like locally and all that. And they have oh god, I have to look at it again to remind myself. It is Delta 8 THC in some of these. That's the kind that I've got. And for those who don't know, the THC is what gives you like the high in marijuana or what have you.
Yeah.
And I think it's Delta 9 in what we normally would refer to as like pot or whatever. Delta 8 is just enough to make it a little bit more legal, at least in Alabama where I picked up this jar.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I take one of those. I ain't driving for a day. That ain't happening. Just no.
Yeah, those are legal federally, and I actually did buy some of those gummies, like, from a store called Recreational 8. Yeah, you can just order them online.
Yeah.
They're good.
What I would like to be able to do is order like the actual weed tarts that I got last time I was in Illinois. Those were also good. But like, the first time I took these gummies that I've got, I took 2 of them. Thinking, okay, gram wise, they're about the same as like 2 to 3 or 4 of the tarts, and I knew my limits with that. I spent the next day and a half blitzed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, 1 is good enough, and 1 is good if I want to like force myself to like lower my energy, like just like no.
Oh yeah, like maybe I should get some of those, and maybe try it next time I have the insomnia.
Yeah. I mean, it is really good at helping me sleep. Just ooh.
Oh yeah.
Problem is, I'm also the next the effects last for about a day, and there's a high, and then I sleep, and most of that's gone. But then the next day is still kind of like in that foggy haze until like it usually. The last times I've done it, it would usually be between 9 and 10 at night, which is about the time I would get on call with Becky, and then it would last till about 7 or 8 the following night. So. Yeah, and that's just 1. Also, No Nut November is apparently still a thing they're trying to push, because of course they are. It's like if you want to personally indulge in it, be my guest. But none of us really. We don't. Fuck off. If you need to nut. Go nut. Go nuts. Yeah. Aha.
Yeah, dude, nutting is healthy for you, and it's like. And November is actually Men's Health Nut Month.
All the health nuts come out in November.
Yeah.
Men's Health Month. It's to raise awareness for like prostate cancer and testicular cancer and stuff. And if you don't nut, you're gonna fucking you're gonna raise your risk for prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
that was. Sorry, you go first.
Like, I mean, okay, if you're doing it because you have a porn addiction and you want to curb it, go ahead. But, like, shaming people for not participating or for quote-unquote failing No Nut November, that's just low. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a meme. Well... it is for some people, but you gotta be really careful because the Proud Boys and alt-right types like to co-opt it.
Yeah. They're doing the typical white boy thing and stealing shit for their own good, for their own means. Typical white shit.
I mean, I'm inadvertently participating because I haven't felt like, I just want to see how long I can do it.
Yeah, and your limits, and you're not going to, and you're not doing it just to be an asshole. You're doing it just You don't feel it, you don't feel it. Don't force it.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
I just kind of want to see if I can go a month without it. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's fine, we just don't do it too long. And yeah, sometimes going like a few days or a month or a week or however, it can feel really good when you finally release, sure. But especially when you have a look at some of my social media timelines. Whew. But yeah, But okay, so I saw this Twitter exchange. Somebody said No Nut November is top tier stupid, which the way it's presented, the way it's pushed around and pushed out and everything, sure. That we just got done talking about that. But somebody comes in, look like someone failed. Yeah, real mature. But this comeback I love. Well, someone had to keep your mom happy.
Oh!
And speaking of masturbation, at some point, this headline was from 2015. But a Muslim televangelist said masturbation will leave hands pregnant in afterlife.
What?
How does that work? Are you okay? You taking too many shrooms, man?
I don't know, but honestly, that would be kind of neat. Have like a whole bunch hand cannons that shoot children.
Nice.
Like,
Sorry. I was like, gives new meaning to Yeetus the fetus.
Yes. Yeetus the fetus. Oh god, there was this one TikTok video I saw of like this father. He's he's trying to potty train his kids, and it's going just like you would expect. And he's doing his thing. And his son comes up and you know how sometimes kids will they'll like sit on their parents' feet and they'll like want to be like carried around that way, and it's kind of a little hard for me to describe, but if you've got the picture, you got it. So the dad felt like a little squish, not thankfully not a shit squish, but as he described it, his son teabagged his foot, and without even thinking about it, the dad just kind of like lashed out the foot that was being teabagged. Child went flying. Child is okay, thankfully, but and he shared it because he's like, does that make me a bad dad for doing that? It's like, no, accidents happen, and you made things okay, presumably. Comfort of the child. You have enough self-awareness to say, hey, wait, am I bad? No. Accidents do happen.
Yeah. No, I was just on the health thing. I was around my sister. This is a couple of years ago now. I was around my sister's, and her husband hadn't come home yet because he was working. I was there from lunchtime. And he came home. He said, he gave the greetings to the family and said, "Hi, how's it going?" And he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like, "I've just had a vasectomy." I'm not sure why I just told you that. But it did lead to the question of all right, cool. Feeling better now. Great. So, and I was genuinely curious. It's well, not to get too, personal and everything, but isn't masturbation isn't clearing out the pipes supposed to be good for you? And he said, no, because the vasectomy just stops the seminal fluids, but the other fluids can still, flow and process out.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah, that's Jeff Foxworthy once taking the bullets out of the gun.
Yeah.
I've actually kind of considered it myself at one point. Because it's it's reversible, so if it's hey, we decide we want to have kids or something, there you go.
Yeah.
But speaking of such things, my friend Vi, she goes on Plenty of Fish just to kind of fart around, meet, talk to new people or what have you. And most of her experiences are really good. Most of them. But then you have some asshole like this guy I'm about to talk about. His name is Nick, which is so generic a name that about 20 Nicks are going to be like, "Oh, you talking about me?" No, probably. I mean,
No.
Unless you sent the following line. Look, truthfully, I like thick girls because I have a big dick, and typically it works out better that way.
Ew.
That's not how that works, number one. Number two, don't open with that!
Yeah, like, big no.
No! I mean, it would be one thing for me to say something like that to Vi, because, well, one, we've known each other for over a decade. So, and two, she is comfortable with me saying stuff like that. And if she figures she's not, she knows she can tell me and I won't go off on her. Yeah. So of course she rightfully says, hey, there's literally no correlation there at all, and asks him to stop. And of course he's insistent, like, oh, there is, but okay, I'll leave it alone. And then she replies with, tell me you've never had sex with a woman without telling me you've never had sex with a woman. Says, yeah, let me tell you something. The majority of the women that I've been with in the past 10 years have been some degree of thick. All right? And my dick size has not changed. I have been able to have sex with all of them fairly okay. If there were any kind of logistical issues, it wasn't because of my dick. Maybe our bellies, but not my dick. But once we got it in there, oh, it was good. Like, some of them have bellies my belly size or larger. We still managed it. So, yeah. Just, like, let me tell you something. Yeah, if your dick is big, you're more of a liability than not. Yeah, you could be impressive. Like, see, I'm 12 inches. Yeah, sure. But do you give a woman pleasure with it? Oh, some maybe. Law of averages, you might some, but for most women, and Michelle, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Most women would probably be like, no, I'd rather not have a second hole in my uterus, thank you.
Yeah.
I've personally only been with two people. One was shorter than me and proportional, and the other was my current, and touches aside. My ex, sometimes I wish we had, but it didn't work out, so it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, put it this way, she's like 6'2" and proportional, so
Yeah.
Yeah. I say she. I don't know where she is in the process right now. Last time I spoke to her about it, she mentioned something about needing to lose weight. So I don't know what's there anymore. Not my business anymore.
Yeah.
But I used to work at a nightclub, and we used to on occasion have the ladies' nights with the male models and the dancing and stuff. And they were nice lads, actually. And because I was working, I got to see the whole thing for free.
Ooh.
But some of those lads, even like without extra stimulation, were like kind of like big and flappy. And I'm like,
they're showers.
Yeah, you're a nice you're a nice lad, but I wouldn't want to see that thing awake.
Those are probably showers.
Yeah, maybe.
Showers don't differentiate. The only difference between like a flaccid shower and an erect shower is just the amount of blood that's in there. Whereas you have growers, whereas when they're flaccid, they're like teeny tiny, and then but when they get horny, you see them grow. And it's like, make my penis grow. Oh,
Gorgio.
Yeah. So naturally, I've been like, I sometimes jokingly say I have 5 girlfriends, Becky, and then like 4 others, and so of course there are things like shared between everybody, and of course I share a lot of Vi's adventures with Becky and now Tifa as well, because I'm adding her into the mix, and Tifa saw the line about the "tell me you've never had sex with a woman." She responded with one of those Aubrey Plaza tea sipping gifs, like just. And Becky noted, and I think we kind of touched on it a little bit. Thick does not equal deep vagina, because that's the actual reason why some people can't handle big dicks. It's because their hole isn't deep enough.
Yep.
Just And also, so I just happened to look at Twitter and see some of the things trending. I'm saying, like, okay, ABBA releases a new album. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You get it, Dancing Queens and Kings, or however you identify.
Yeah.
That's cool. X-Men is trending. Okay, cool. COVID stuff, because of course it is. You gotta have that.
Yeah.
Apparently LA changed its entire approach to homelessness, which could be good, could be bad. I know there's like one university somewhere that's like, hey, if you're homeless, you can just sleep in your car in our parking garage. It's like, just give them a home.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to do. And if any rich fucks want to give you shit about it, tell them to go fuck themselves and kick them in the nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, but also trending is Jacob Wool. Or at least he was until it updated on me, but I managed to get it in time. So the reason why Jacob Wool is trending is because he said some shit on Gab, which is basically, fascist Nazi Twitter.
Remind me who he is. I think. Remind me again who he is. I think I know the name, but
some kind of right-wing grifter. That's all I know.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
So and he's definitely anti-Semitic, because he posted this, which I want to say got 242 likes, 177 comments, and 51 reposts on Gab. So people are, not a lot of people, but people are siding with him, potentially. At least 242 people are liking it. So he says, I firmly believe that every Jew in America should decorate their home with Christmas lights. It's called assimilation.
I saw that.
America is a Christian country. First of all, no, the fuck it's not. It is not a Christian country, Jake. Fuck off, Jacob. I got a friend named Jake. Don't want to confuse the two. Yeah. We are not a Christian country. We have never been a Christian country. You can go fuck off with that. Number one. Number two, even if it was, we have what's called freedom of religion. That means Jewish people do not have to assimilate to any other religion, just like we don't have to assimilate to theirs. We can live and coexist peacefully. Freedom of religion is why, I'm not being shot for being non-Christian. Freedom of religion is ostensibly why Jewish people aren't, I'd like to say that freedom of religion is Jewish people aren't being oppressed in this country, but they are. Not the most blatant of ways. We're not talking Holocaust levels, or at least World War II Holocaust levels. But, freedom of religion is also why it's the same thing with a lot of these types of Christians who are like, oh, but our freedom of religion. No, if your religion is telling you to treat others like crap because they don't follow your invisible sky daddy, then your religion sucks and you need to keep it to yourself. Otherwise, we're going to beat the shit out of you. Yep. And rightfully so. And it's not because of your religion, but it's because you're an asshole.
Yep.
And I'm saying all this live on Twitch. Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well. But still, just, oh, God, dude. Like, Just
Doesn't that fit nicely into what I wanted to talk about?
I think so. Go for it.
Okay, so I know Gomer, I know you're familiar with. Scully, are you familiar with the whole "Let's Go Brandon" thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can we just? It's for those of you who aren't aware, and Gomer and I have discussed this the other day. What had happened, as my understanding. And I think this was maybe a couple of weeks ago now, and it's sort of picking up now, like more recently.
Mm-hmm.
But a young driver won his NASCAR meet. I don't know if it was like a final race or whatever. But the guy, who's, as far as I know, is called Brandon Brown, won his race.
Yeah, good for him.
And so I'm going to give the reporter the benefit of the doubt here and say that in the moment, they genuinely thought the crowd was saying, let's go Brandon, because Brandon won his race, and they thought the crowd were cheering for them, which is not an unreasonable assessment.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the original video, so this is pure speculation. If someone knows something more accurate, then please feel free to let us know.
Yeah.
But my understanding is the reporter and presumably Brandon thought originally thought they were chanting "Let's go, Brandon," and it turns out they're actually shouting "Fuck Joe Biden."
Because
Okay.
of course.
Right.
So, one, you've just made this sports event political. Which, don't you hate it when like the whole knee thing and like, oh, don't make it political? That's it.
Yeah.
Before I get into my other side rant,
Mhm.
and again, Gomer and I talk about this earlier, I know nothing about Mr. Brown. I don't even know if we'd actually get on. We may have completely different politics. But the dude just won a race. He thought the crowd were cheering for him, and then he found out it was a political chant. Let the man have his moment.
Yeah.
Let the dude have his moment.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, good God.
Goddamn. I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Biden either, but I'm not going to hijack some guy's high from winning a goddamn race to get my message across. It's the way we have podcasts for.
Like I said, he might be as right as the rest of them. I mean, I don't want to speculate. I want to like generalize about NASCAR.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, generally speaking, it's more of a Southern thing, and generally speaking, Southern tend to be more right-leaning, from my understanding as a British person.
Yeah.
But even so, let him have his moment.
Yeah, like this is a moment he earned it. It's his thing. But then you motherfuckers came and just and also some of them have also been co-opting it to like saying "Let's go, Brandon" as saying "Fuck you, Biden," using that as a code word or whatever. And it's like, dude, you can say "Fuck you, Biden." You can say that.
Yes. Okay. So this is the thing. This is what's getting me. It's like it is so fucking childish. Like we will happily say "Fuck Trump." Hashtag Get Boris Out regularly comes up on British Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thing. Like, the people do say fuck Joe Biden. Fine, we say fuck Trump. There's nary a week that's gone by. It's not happened so far, but it's going to happen in a second, where Gomer makes a comment about his local politician.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck John. Fuck, I was about to say John DeSantis. No, it's Ron DeSantis. Fuck Rick
there
Scott.
You
Fuck
go.
Marco Rubio. Fuck Neil Dunn and fuck Matt, especially fuck Matt Gaetz. Oh my God. Yeah. Dude's a literal sex trafficking pedophile.
Yes. And I worked it out. And let me just pull up the thing, because if you don't know the reference, it's a bit hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the reasons it kind of bugs me is, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Friends and the audience, but there is a gesture that became a running gag on Friends.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally... let me see if I can find it. Find the GIF.
Yeah.
And it is, you hold up your two fists and you bump them together, and that means flipping the bird.
What the fuck?
No, I've got the GIF of it. I'll show you. That's not the best version of it, actually. That's only a single bump.
Oh. Okay. Because I'm thinking like bumping fists together, like not with their sides, but like in the front, you know.
Hang on, let me just. I think I used the wrong tag words.
But yeah, I see the GIF. I see what. Yeah, it's different than I was picturing it. Yeah.
And if you're a Friends fan, you get the reference.
Yeah. Isn't that
so
Ross?
yeah, you got...
Isn't he horrible?
He can be.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. In the context, in the universe of Friends,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to scroll down a bit because that's actually quite distracting. So when we first have it introduced, Ross does it to Rachel because they're on the outs, because that's a whole other rant I could go off on about Ross and Rachel's relationship. But anyway, in universe, So Ross does the thing, and Rachel turns to Monica and goes, "What even is that?" And Monica is saying, "Oh, it's this thing. He came up with when we were kids, and it's a way of flipping the bird without letting Mum and Dad know we were flipping the bird." And I cried that day because that was the day I realized that I was cooler than my brother.
Oh.
So, in the universe, this is a gesture that was thought of by a child that I'm guessing 8 or 9, like old enough to understand what flipping the bird is and smart enough to come up with a gesture for it, but still too young to realize that it's goofy.
Mm-hmm.
8, 9, and then his younger sibling recognized almost immediately that it was dorky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It becomes a running gag in the show, and like the other characters end up doing it, and the ways and times they use it is quite funny because they don't overuse it.
Right.
So it does become quite a funny running gag in universe.
Yeah.
But in universe, this is a gesture that was made up by a child that a younger child recognized as dorky.
Right.
Let's Go, Brandon is the political version of that.
Yeah, and that reminds me of this tweet that I got pulled up. It says, if you want to say fuck Joe Biden, you can just say fuck Joe Biden. Using a code phrase then running off giggling is so infantile, I'm surprised Matt Gaetz hasn't tried to fuck it.
Yes! Yes, I think I saw that one.
Yes.
Is that the one that had the image I showed you underneath it?
I don't know.
Well, I'll post it up anyway, but that one is easy to describe. It just basically says Brandon won.
Oh yeah. Like just
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like,
yeah.
there you go.
There you go. Yeah. And some more news did like a whole thing on like conservative comedy recently, and he's kind of got it. He kind of brings out the point that's coming into my brain is like, when you see like conservative comedy, like, and when we say conservative comedy, we're talking about the ones that are getting a lot of the attention, the ones that are like, oh, this to trigger the libs or what have you, those kinds of assholes.
Yeah.
Their humor derives from, like hurting others, as in like legit hurting others, punching down basically. I mean, yeah, other comedy, yeah, it can be hurtful to others as well, but it's not always meaning to be hurt, and if anything, it's punching up. I mean, George Carlin did that a lot. He punched up, or at the very least, punched even. Never down.
Yeah.
So because and I know some people were like, well, he made fun of feminists. Yeah, because at the time feminists were getting, were just getting a little bit too much with some of the rhetoric that it was getting unreasonable and needed to be metaphorically knocked down a peg. He agreed with a lot of the feminist philosophy that he had heard at the time. Men, by and large, fucking ruined the goddamn planet. Bear in mind, this was 1990.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he agrees with that. So it's like, yeah, it's not coming from a place of antagonism. It's like, hey, I'm on your side, but this is pretty cringe, bro. To put it into 2021 language.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And that's kind of the thing. It's like you have comedians that are more on the left that are more open to self-reflection. Hell, comedians that are able to joke about their own weaknesses and their own shortcomings and just their own stupidity on stage. Hi, Bill Engvall. Even Ron White, that's part of the reason why, I think that's at least one of the reasons why the Blue Collar Boys, managed to do so well for so many years. Because, yeah, and I can even include Larry in this one, even though he's my least favorite of the four. They all come back to stuff that's relatable to everybody, regardless of your political affiliation, and they've done some stupid shit in their lives that they can make a joke about, like Bill Engvall trying to learn how to surf. He took home so much of the beach that they were going to remake a Dune. So that's where they got all that sand from. Or the time Or he joked about his time on Dancing with the Stars. He did most of that with a messed up knee. You know, his knee legit got messed up because of that show. And he was talking about it, and he was just going to try and power through it like a dumbass. So, you know.
One of my favorite early Eddie Izzard jokes is, you know, because when you're a woman, you can joke about you can make jokes about men being oppressive or all this. If you're black, you can talk about racial issues, Jewish, religious issues. Mm-hmm. But I have, you know, if you're poor, you know, the situation's there. But I happen to be a white middle class man. Thank fuck I'm a transvestite.
Yeah, and I subscribe to the George Carlin philosophy on comedy. You can joke about anything. It just depends on how you construct the joke. And the more I look at, analyze on my own and see other people analyze just the comedy flying around nowadays, it's like, yeah. It's like, I think it was, what's her name? Comedian. I'll have her name up in a moment. But I want to say it's Jody Miller. I want to double check that. God damn it, I have way too much George Carlin on this list. Oh, she's not even in this list. What the hell? Or is she? Jody Miller, I was right. Okay. So Jody Miller, in what was the year? 2016. In her 2016 comedy album, she talks about whether she was talking about the difference between doing a marathon run or getting raped, and she said, "I would rather be raped." And the logic behind it was when you have the marathon, the suffering, the physical suffering at least. She's not talking about any mental suffering. Physical suffering is more prolonged, generally speaking. Again, her logic, not mine. Whereas if the unfortunate thing were to happen and she got raped, then it's over relatively quickly. That's her logic. I don't know. It's not my place to agree or disagree with it. That's just how she put it. And it got laughs. And it comes from somebody who is more likely to be raped, and she may have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think if you are a rape victim and you are at a point where you're able to joke about it, good on you.
Yeah.
Because humor is a good coping mechanism too. So, hell, even Carlin had was like, yeah, you can joke about rape. Picture Porky Pig raping Elmer Fudd, and you're either going to be horrified or just the image is going to just your brain is just going to go because that is both horrifying and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have to go into voices or anything. He just let the audience imagine it.
Yeah.
Because that is how absurd it is. But that is technically a joke about rape.
Yeah.
So
there's a British comedian gentleman. I can't remember who. I think Jeff Green, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But he was making the joke of, the comparison, people always talk about what's more painful, having a baby or getting kicked in the nuts. Now I'm going to put it to you that getting kicked in the nuts is more painful. And wait, here's my logic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you have the baby, you're going through all that, and it's bad, and you're in the pain, and sometimes it can last for hours, and that's bad.
Yeah.
But after a little while, you've calmed down, you settle down, you've got your baby, they're becoming this wonderful person, and then you're like, you know what? I think I'm ready to have another baby. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, men, if you've ever been kicked in the bollocks, have you ever, at any point, then turned around and said, I want to do that again?
Well,
No.
You say that. There are men out there into cock and ball torture.
I mean, there are some people with a fetish. That is not my fetish. Nope.
No. There's no.
I think he was talking in very broad terms, outside the kink circles.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you're not going to want to do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and in fairness, with childbirth, at least in the modern day, you can have drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take drugs. Well, you could, but most of the time, if you get kicked in the balls, it's pretty spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one could argue, yeah, sometimes childbirth is spontaneous because as much as people try to plan, sometimes the baby's like, nope, I'm done. I'm out of here now. So, yeah.
Okay,
So,
that's another. I'm sorry, it's another Friends rant. Adam and I are planning on doing a Friends video at some point, but I have to talk about this because we're talking about babies.
Mhm.
So, Rachel was pregnant for a year. Like, actually, now, work with me here. One of the only truly fixed dates in Friends is because even birthdays tend to be quite like floaty, but we know that Monica and Chandler's wedding was on the 15th of May. Because not only did they say it was that date, I believe that was the date of the original broadcast, and even when they came back the next season, you see their invitations, and it's actually written on there. You can see it written on there, 15th of May. Okay,
yeah.
so Ross and Rachel did the do 4 weeks before the wedding, assuming Rachel's regular enough that she knows to check on the eve of the wedding. Okay, so they say it's 4 weeks. So she got pregnant in mid-April.
Yeah.
That baby should have come out late January, early February. She didn't give birth again until next summer.
Television time.
But that's just so it annoys me.
Yeah.
Because I was rewatching. I was having a marathon recently, and it kind of bugged me again because she was saying she was having a 4 or 5 month hornies. After the Christmas episode, after the Halloween episodes, like April, we know it's a fixed date. We know when it happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also on Friends, on the whole Friends thing, we have to pour one out for James Michael Tyler, who passed recently after his long bout of cancer.
Oh damn.
So pour one out for Gunther. Coffees, raise your coffee mugs, and have a moment.
Yep. Water bottle. Here we go. But yeah, just yeah, I think we're just about the time for wrapping up here, I guess.
Because we're all Waffle now.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to anything, Scully, or any other?
Yeah, I think I mean, anything can be funny, but you gotta do it right. Like, I mean, hell, I've even heard suicide jokes that I laughed at.
Yeah. Again, Carlin's done that too.
Yep.
Like,
I'd have to hear the context.
Yeah.
It was more in the delivery on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like,
I believe you, but I can't imagine it in my head right now. So context.
I'd have to find the clip, but yeah.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I know in Carlin's case, it was less on like, could never commit suicide. Who's got the fucking time? And then he's like, you know what? He's thinking, okay, I'll hang myself. But I don't have a rope. Rope's too greasy. I don't want that. I'll go to Walmart, put it on my credit card, and never have to pay the fucking thing. So, and then you gotta write a note. Shit, there's always something. So,
Yeah.
And it's like that's how Carlin worked. It's like he could drag you over the line and make you like it.
Yeah.
So there is one last tweet before we get out of here. I saw from a mutual of mine. Going back to No Nut November for a moment. If you eat your own cum after jerking off, you don't lose No Nut November because technically the cum doesn't leave your body. I am not going to try this.
You've never tasted yourself?
No.
Huh, I have. It's fine.
But just no. If I want to know how I taste, I'll ask somebody who has tasted me.
Yeah, same.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Although there was this one tweet going around like, men, would you suck a dick for like $1 billion or however much? And I'm like, I am pretty heterosexual. I'm very comfortable in my heterosexuality. But I would give a dick a suck for $1 billion because that would pay for literally me and all of my friends and then some. And also never says I had to do it to completion. Loophole!
I would.
I saw. Oh, here you go. Let me just see if I can find the thing.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Whilst looking for the other thing, I've just seen this. Ha! Mildly amusing. Ha ha! Laughing. Ha ha ha! Sarcastic laughing. Ha 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 ha! Staying alive.
Oh.
Where is it?
Oh.
I think I've gone past where it would have been, so
Yeah.
I think they must have advanced it in somebody else's thread.
Yeah.
But I did see. Yeah, sorry.
All right. I just saw some breaking news. Animal Crossing New Horizons. They've had like updates and everything, and they've had some new amiibo cards come out.
Okay.
And pretty much sold out immediately, except for scalpers.
Mm-hmm.
Now the cards themselves at Best Buy and Nintendo, they had it at $5.99. That's fair. Okay. Amiibo cards $5.99. Cool. eBay has them at $25.
Ugh.
And I got this news straight from Tifa, who tweeted about it. Thanks, scalpers. This is why we don't have nice things. Oh. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here for this time. Again, I mentioned it earlier in the show, and I probably have the my mid-roll dedicated to it. But if you've got some money to spare and you want to throw some at me for helping me to get out of here, the GoFundMe link should be in the doobly-doo, or at the very least, it's at the top of my link tree. If I forget to put it in the actual doobly-doo itself. Of course, if you're in the chat or whatever on stream or whatever, the command is always on screen. If you're watching this on YouTube, those commands are only good for Twitch. You can't just put it in the comment section. That doesn't work that way. Most people would understand that, but you're gonna have that one dude who's gonna be like, "Wait, did I put it in here?" No. But yeah. So again, that GoFundMe, it's at the top of my link tree, if nothing else. And every little bit does help. My goal is 75,000, because I would rather overshoot and have way more than what I need than not have enough and be fucked. So, and I'm gonna keep pushing it until till the end of the year, or until the goal is met, whichever comes first. And I've already figured 75,000 would cover any fees that GoFundMe would take out to keep the lights on, and would also help me, get settled somewhere for at least a year. While I still try to maybe get this going to a point to where it'll pay me, other day job work or what have you. So, it's basically, hey, cushion. And to everybody who's listening and has already donated, thank you. I know I've thanked people individually, either through the GoFundMe messaging system or publicly, through Twitter or what have you. But if you're listening, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Every little bit does help. Scully, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me, got a link tree, linktr.ee/Scolipendra.
Michelle, where can we find you on the social media?
You can find me on Linktree at linktr.ee/Phoenix11 PHEONIX11.
Sweet. And as for me, I've mentioned the link tree. It's linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. You'll find all of my social media links to the Twitters, to the TikToks. I actually have a new TikTok up, surprisingly. That could probably use the view, so go and check it out. It's another one of those incorrect Danganronpa ones. I get to do the Terra voice, and I get to use Ricky Martin as a curse word. That's always hilarious. But yeah, and of course, the aforementioned GoFundMe is also at the top of the link tree. Again, that's linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. The Patreon link is also over there if you want to help support in a more regular schedule, as opposed to just one time with the GoFundMe or what have you. But yeah, so that is it for this episode. I thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out and listening and all of that good stuff. And until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with Michelle and Scolipendra, signing off.
Later.
Bye.